Given that most people can probably lose a little bit of fat and gain some muscle, it's no surprise that new diet fads are always coming out. While calorie and portion control are the fundamentals of any weight loss or weight gain goals, simple yet sustainable diets can sometimes do the trick. That the quality and type of food you consume is just as important as counting calories. So, why don't we explore some of the best foods and exercises you can eat and do to lose weight? And also, what kinds of things you should avoid if you're trying for weight loss. But before we begin this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily tips like this and turn on notifications so you never miss our new videos. Takeaway is that the quality of what you eat is incredibly important. You may or may not need to eat an 1800 calorie diet, but what you need is a diet that is based on whole and minimally processed foods, without an excess of added sugars, salts, and saturated fats. That's why Maya suggests a diet that is rich in whole foods and filled with fruits and vegetables. A report by Livestrong suggested the use of a fruit and protein diet, since it provides dieters with energy for daily activities and weight training. They explain that protein is a nutritional component required to help muscle tissue recover and repair after weight training. On top of that, fruit provides good carbs for the right kind of sugar-fueled energy. When you combine these two foods along with some vegetables, you get a low-calorie diet that helps you lose weight and build muscle. The beauty of this diet is that it's inherently filled with nutritious whole foods. Protein coming from an animal, beans, nuts, and/or soy products is mostly natural, and fruits, which are seeded, are almost always from the earth. The article went on to stipulate the specific type of protein that dieters should try to ingest. They explain that when choosing proteins for a diet, avoid fats. Foods like red meat, milk, and eggs have high amounts of saturated fats, which are bad for cardiovascular health. You should choose lean meats like skinless chicken and turkey. When it comes to fish, which naturally contains omega-3 fatty acids along with protein, you should choose mackerel, tuna, trout, or salmon. Fruits, while considered a carb, tend to be a good source of energy. They are also low in calories and are almost always natural. Fruits like apricots, melons, peaches, and tangerines are full of healthy sugars. These are good for snacking in between meals. Grapefruit is a very low-calorie fruit full of vitamins and nutrients. Grapes and cherries are also very good for a portable healthy snack. Bananas are beneficial for their potassium content. And of course, any good diet for the purpose of weight loss needs to include some form of exercise. According to a study, the increase in muscle mass causes an increase in metabolism, which in turn helps the dieter burn more calories. Thus, a focus on strength training and gaining muscle will greatly increase one's calorie output. That cardio exercise is the way to go if you want to burn calories. If you went over your caloric intake target, a good cardio exercise can burn off all of those excess calories. To top it off, you can add resistance training to increase your muscle mass. Muscle burns off more calories, even when you're just sitting. There isn't one perfect diet for everyone, because of individual differences in genes and lifestyle. But the data doesn't lie. A calorie is a calorie is an oft-repeated dietary slogan, and not overeating is indeed an important health measure. Rather than focusing on calories alone, however, emerging research shows that quality is also key in determining what you should eat and what you should avoid in order to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. Rather than choosing foods based only on caloric value, think instead about choosing high-quality, healthy foods and minimizing low-quality foods. So while many diets have grown prominent over the past few months, a diet rich in whole and nutritious foods such as protein and fruits is essential, not only for weight loss goals but also for health and longevity. Now that we've explored the do's of weight loss, why don't we explore the don'ts? The following things are stuff you should totally avoid if you're looking to shed a couple pounds. Number 1. French fries and potato chips. While potatoes themselves are pretty healthy, French fries and chips are in fact not healthy in the least bit. In fact, they're closely linked to weight gain. One study even found that potato chips are one of the biggest contributors to weight gain, more so than other foods. You'll even want to avoid baked, fried, or roasted potatoes, because like most things, those contain cancer-causing substances called acrylamides. Bottom line, avoid potatoes in general unless they're plain. Boiled potatoes. Hey, stay away from that McDonald's drive-thru. Yeah, just keep driving. Number 2, sugary drinks. There are a lot of unhealthy foods on this planet. The aforementioned potato chips, candy, ice cream. However, soda and sugary drinks are probably in the top 10 for worst foods for weight loss. If you're drinking a lot of soda, just know that it's going to have several disastrous health effects on your body. Not to mention that it's an absolute killer for your weight loss. You see, the brain doesn't register soda's calories like it does with solid food. You won't be getting any fuller and you'll just be drinking more and getting fatter. Our advice, if you're trying to lose weight, avoid sugary drinks altogether. Hey, get away from that McDonald's drive-thru. Trust me, I understand how refreshing a cool Diet Coke would be right now, but you've got to avoid it. Just keep driving. Number 3, white bread. While it's undoubtedly better than brown bread, it's best to avoid this refined, sugary grain product. It'll spike your blood sugar levels, plus, eating just 2 slices a day will up your chances of weight gain and obesity. Try one of the healthier alternatives. Oopsie bread, cornbread, and almond flour bread are all great options. The best option, however, is Ezekiel bread, which is said to be the healthiest bread on the market today. Number 4, candy bars. We can hear you through the phone, laptop, desktop, spaceship monitor. Well, duh, Bestie, obviously. Well, we didn't know that you were suddenly a health expert viewer. Maybe you'd like to make the video. That's what we thought. Candy bars, like white bread, are packed full of sugar, unhealthy oils, and refined flour. They're high in calories and low in nutrients, which isn't what you want when you're trying to lose weight. Unfortunately, they're everywhere and often positioned near the entrance of the grocery store to try to take advantage of your hunger. Instead of buying a candy bar with 200 or 300 calories, maybe try something healthier, more like fruit. Maybe an apple or a handful of nuts. Yeah, I know it's not the same, but at least you won't get fat. Number 5, pastries. This includes cookies, cakes, and all sorts of pastries. But all of them are more often than not bad for you. Once again, these babies are chocked full of refined flour, sugar, and other unhealthy ingredients. They also contain a lot of trans fats, which are linked to many diseases and health problems. Finally, they're high in calories and low in nutrients. Plus, they're not very satisfying. Should you decide to eat one of these light foods, you'll most likely still be hungry later, as they're not very filling. So, what can you do? How do you satisfy your sweet tooth if you can't eat pastries and candy bars? Why not try some dark chocolate? It's rich and a lot healthier for you than the aforementioned 2 candies. Number 6, alcohol. This one applies to some types of alcohol, but especially beer. These are low in carbs and protein, but high in calories. There are a lot of asterisks when it comes to this point, however. For starters, we're mostly just talking about constant heavy drinking, or at least not drinking in moderation. Alcoholism, or drinking a lot, is often associated with weight gain. Also, while beer is often pretty unhealthy, drinking wine in moderation actually might be good for your health. So drink, but not that much. Hey, put that shot glass down, that's way too much. Number 7, pizza. This is one of the most popular fast foods in the world, but unfortunately, it's awful for those of us trying to achieve weight loss. We are, however, mostly talking about commercial pizzas here, so keep that in mind. They tend to be pretty high in calories and often include processed meats and cheeses. Just in case you didn't know, processed foods aren't good for you. They also usually include one of the biggest culprits on the list, refined flour. So try to make your pizzas at home. Hey, what are you doing in the McDonald's drive-thru? Haven't you learned anything? No, they don't serve the McPizza anymore, gosh darn it, viewer. So what about you? What foods do you think you should eat to lose weight? How about exercises? What should you do to lose weight? And finally, what should you avoid if you're trying to lose weight? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to Bestie. Wait, what kind of Bestie would we be if we didn't tell you about our other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or right video and enjoy.